Wow. The Texas Clemson game is over and Texas won. It's not officially over yet, but for all intents and purposes, it is. Clemson just had a 4th down and 5 that they could not get. With like a minute remaining, Texas got the ball back, so the game's over. And wow, that game was much better than the Penn State SMU game, and it really got that taste out of my mouth. Like, it was a good football game to watch, and this game was so it feels weird doing this once again where I start off with talking about the losers, but it's probably going to be the last time I really talk about Clemson this year. Clemson surprised me. Clemson surprised me, both good and bad. The things I thought they would struggle with in this game, they did not. Like, I did not see much hope for Clemson offensively, and they came out there and played maybe one of their best games of the season. I know they only scored 24 points, but it felt much more than that. I've never seen Cade Klubnik play this good, given the circumstance and the opponent he was playing. Cade Klubnik was out there dropping dimes. He was cool, calm, and collective. He was picking apart this Texas defense, which is one of the best in the entire nation, and he was looking good. I thought that Clemson called a very, very good game offensively, even though I kind of had a problem with the fact that I don't think they used Cade Klubnik's legs enough, even though his arm clearly was enough, but I think it would have been really nice for them to use a lot of his legs, get him maybe out on the edge, help him, just make things easier for him. Because while I do like their play calling, it was tough sledding for him at first, and he did adjust and he did look phenomenal, but it would have been nice for them to make things even more easier for him and just help him use one of his biggest assets. While yes, his arm is pretty good and much better than I kind of have given it credit for, his legs are truly what make him special. His dual threat ability is what a lot of people like about him, and honestly what I like about him. So I would have loved to see them use that a little bit more. My biggest gripe with the play calling, I think the play that kind of sealed the deal for Clemson is when they had that 4th and 1 on the 1-yard line and they just ran the ball. And I don't have a problem with them just running the ball at all, but it's just I hate when it's 4th and short and you're in shotgun and you're running at Texas's strength. Yes, you've been able to have a much success against Texas defense, especially in that second half, but their strength is their defensive line. Why are you attacking their strength? Why aren't you attacking one of their weaknesses? And why are you taking the ball out of Cade Klubnik's hands? He was your best player in that game. He was your best offensive player. Why are you taking the ball out of his hands? And I really liked how too it felt like, the passing attack was very It went to a variety of different people. The tight ends were getting involved, the wide receivers. TJ Moore had himself a game, especially in that 4th quarter. It felt like they were picking on, I forget what's the name of the Texas DB. I think his name is Muhammad, but he was getting whatever he wanted over there on the right side. They were just throw it to him, and he was cooking. TJ Moore, and that dude's a freshman. He's going to be something very special. Clemson offensively supremely surprised me. That's what I thought the weak point of this team was. I thought if they had to score more than 30, they wouldn't be able to win this game. Of course, they didn't score more than 30, but they honestly should. They left points out there. Like early in the game, there was a 4th and 1 when honestly you should have went for it. You should have went for it. And then the part of Clemson that kind of disappoints me is, their defense and how they got physically dominated. The one thing about playing Texas is you cannot let them run the ball. You have to be able to stop the run. And I don't know if this is an indictment of Clemson or, an appreciation or compliment to Texas. Their running game was amazing. Javion Blue, I think that's his name. I'm pretty sure. I'm looking at it right now. Javion Blue, he was spectacular tonight. And while I do want to give credit to the running backs, him, Gibson, Whisper, I can never say his name right. He didn't play that much, but when he did have some very impactful runs. But this offensive line was just, creating holes out of nowhere. And I'm so jealous as an Ohio State fan seeing Texas's O-line be able to still be dominant even though they're missing 2 starters. Like, the depth they have up front is so good, and it's really paying off for them, because the thing about this offense is, and we've seen it, it's why they've struggled to beat Georgia this year. When you take away the run game, this offense does not look like a normal Steve Sarkisian offense. But when they're able to run the ball, when they're able to use everything at their disposal, oh my goodness, they're so good. Especially because they ran the ball for damn near 300 yards. When you run the ball for almost 300 yards, you don't lose football games. Like, I don't see many defenses being able to stop Texas from running the ball. The only defenses I think can honestly do it on their side of the bracket is Ohio State and Tennessee. And the thing about Ohio State and Tennessee is they're going to knock one of each other out, and then they have to play Oregon, and that's not even a guarantee. So I really like how Texas looks offensively when they just run the football and say, we're just going to dominate you. They honestly just need to run this team like how Michigan was last year, where we're just going to run the ball on you, we're going to hit you with some shots over top, because they have the weapons on the outside. Quinn Ewers this game, I'm not going to say he was bad, but it's not like he was very, very good either. Like, he did what he needed to do. There were a few he missed. I remember that, I think it was a 4th and 5. He missed that drag route that was open. It was also a drop, but it's one of those ones where you got to put it out in front of him. You can't put it behind him. That's a hard catch to make. Yes, he should have made the catch, but that's still an extremely hard catch to make. And then it's like, this was yet another game where we didn't see too much of Arch Manning, and I'm starting to kind of understand why. Maybe he's just not ready. You know, while I do think he has all the talent in the world, it doesn't matter if you're not ready to use it. I mean, that 4th and 1 where he fumbled the under center snap, like, if this was a closer game, if this was a 1-score game, that's a back-breaking play. Like, that's just something that cannot happen. And so if that's what is like kind of like a microcosm of what he be doing in practice sometimes, or, you know, what they think he'll do if they just give him a larger role in this offense in these very big important games, then I understand why you're not playing him as much as maybe I would like you to. Because even with that being said, I still think Arch Manning kind of takes this offense to a different level because he adds another dimension. He makes you a lot more scary. You know, you can already run the ball very well, and that's what Quinn Ewers, who is not a running quarterback. Imagine if you put somebody back there who has the legs, who really will threaten you on the edge and really make those linebackers think more than they already have to. Playing Steve Sarkisian, your linebackers are already in hell. He's going to pick on them. He's going to make you see things that aren't there. You're going to see ghosts. You're going to be Sam Darnold, but instead you're playing defense instead of offense. So Texas offensively, they looked very dominant. They looked very good, especially running the ball. But this defense is supposed to be one of the best in the country, and they were getting picked apart a little bit in that second half. Now, maybe a lot of that was because they were really playing off, letting everything, keeping everything in front of them and basically saying, all right, we know you got to throw the ball, but we're just going to wait till you make a mistake. And Cade Klubnik did not make a mistake. But I just hope that this is not like a look ahead to what could possibly happen, because yes, next they play Arizona State, and I don't want to get too much into that game right now because, like I said, I will do a video on that. They match up favorably against them. But if this is what your defense does against an offense like this, I don't like how you match up against maybe a potential Oregon, maybe a potential Ohio State, maybe a potential Tennessee. It's a little troublesome. Now, I don't think this is what this defense is, because this is the first time they've really been picked apart, honestly. It's funny, both those games they lost to Georgia, they did not get picked apart. They really didn't. This was the first game where I saw the weaknesses, the weaknesses of this defense on full display. And I don't even think they're weaknesses. They just, sometimes you just get got. That's just the nature of football, especially when you're playing a talented team like Clemson. Now, one thing that did show in this game is there is a difference in talent level. There is. While Clemson does have some very, very talented players, they don't have the same amount of talented players as Texas has. And that's very evident in the fact that, it's back in Clemson's glory days, like 5-6 years ago at this point, they did not get dominated on the line of scrimmage like they did. Their defensive line was just getting thrown around like rag dolls. Yes, they were able to get pressure at times because they have the guys to do it. They had the 5 4-stars. They had the blue chip talent. But when in the run game, they were getting thrown around, man. Like I said, 300 yards rushing. And there were some plays, especially a few of Blue's touchdowns, where he really didn't get touched till he reached the second level. And at that point, with a running back of his talent level, with his speed, with his athleticism, with his quick twitch, with his burst, at that point it's bad, because he got a full head of steam. He's running full speed. He's going to run past a lot of people, and that's exactly what he did. So all in all, this was a really, really, really good football game. Like it was. I think the final score does not indicate how close this really was, and I think Clemson walks away from this beating themselves up because they really probably should have won this game. They had chances to win this football game, and if you're Texas, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. Run the ball. Run the ball. Take the air out the football. Just run the ball. And I don't think this defense will play like this again. Or will they? I don't know. They're going to be met with some far more talented offenses if they handle business against Arizona State. And who's to say? Maybe I'm picking Arizona State. I'm really not. But yeah, this was nice. This was a nice interest. I like this. I apologize to K Klubnik. You kind of proved me wrong. This was a really, really good game from you. I'm not going to put you in that top echelon of, quarterbacks right now, but you're definitely much better than I gave you credit for, and I do apologize for the things I said. You came out and you balled. You did the necessary things to win this game. K Klubnik did what you needed him to do. He played his best possible game when you needed him to the most. I do, like I said, I have issues with some of the play calling. I don't think they always put him in the best position, even though they did call a very good game, and their defense let them down. Even though their defense may not be as talented as Clemson defense in the past, I know they didn't have the expectation to almost let up 300 yards rushing. And it don't matter who you're playing. Even if you're playing what may be the best offensive line and best run game in the country, you still don't want to do that. But yeah, this was a really good game. The next one, which is about to start literally in like 10 minutes, is this Ohio State Tennessee game, and I'm gonna have a lot to say after that one. Win, lose, or draw, no matter what happens, I'm gonna have a lot to say. But yeah, hey Clemson. Oh, I see you in the portal, Clemson. I see you making moves. I see you getting a receiver. I see you getting the edge rusher. I see you making in the portal. Dabo with some portal commits. Maybe Clemson is back. Maybe they are. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. Maybe he realized the error in his ways. Maybe Clemson will have its resurgence. Maybe Clemson will get back to running shit like they should be. And I'm gonna take credit for that.